So every summer, the association had a conference, and the even numbered years, there's not a legislative session.
Right.
On the odd numbered years, there is the conventions normally in June.
Mm-hmm.
The session is over at the end of May, and for all those years that I was active until 2012, my job was to give the legislative report
That's right.
at the conference. Well, you've just finished up the session, the 30th. The governor hadn't finished up his vetoes.
Mhm.
And so you're frantically trying to get together this massive, legislative report on all the laws that affect MUDs, whether there's specifically to MUDs or general laws that apply. And the odd-numbered summer conventions were never fun because you knew you had this big presentation on Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and you were frantically putting together this big notebook for distribution leading up to it, and trying to figure out, okay, we got to get the panel, who's going to talk about what,
Mhm.
how long are we going to have,
Mhm.
those conventions were never really fun because of the amount of work it took to get ready for it.
I think also that was
And you
probably,
remember that because you were, after you went to the legislature,
Yeah.
you were on
yeah,
nearly all those panels,
Yeah.
right?
yes. But I think maybe the fact that we were given a report after the legislation probably helped to lead to having midwinter conferences.
Yes. Yes,
Because then we could, particularly in the odd numbered years, we were there to be able to talk to legislators before the session started.
and to
At that
get
time, they were always in Austin.
a consensus of the members of, hey, what's on your mind?
Right.
What are the issues
Yeah.
you're dealing with in your districts that we need to fix?
Yeah. Yeah.
And well, let me say, if you look back at 1976, when I first got involved, and you look at where the association is today in terms of its members, its programs, its publications, the professionalism of the industry and the association, it is a remarkable progress.
And I want to say something about that. One of the things that I was real sensitive to early on was I didn't want people to think that my motive was to help start this thing to build business. So we really worked hard, and I think you can remember that, to keep the business aspects out of our activities so that people didn't join or try to belong because they saw it as an opportunity to pick up business. That may have happened in some cases, but the effort, in fact, for a long time we resisted doing entertaining during board, at the sessions, during the annual sessions. I know I thought it was best not to do that because we didn't want to get in these, so much entertainment that that companies were using it to build business. It's evolved now to not doing it to build business, but doing it just for goodwill, which is okay.
Well, and I think, I know when we were at Vincent Elkins and then later when we had Alan Boone Humphreys Robinson, I mean, we had these big parties, still have these big parties. And it's a chance to socialize with all of your board members that you've been working with all year long, but you come to a board meeting, it's all business, you're there an hour or 2 hours, and then boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's a chance to have some fun, and socialize, meet the spouses.
But that was the good. It was a social aspect and not competitive aspect.
Right.
And I think that's
But I will say this, I think one of the reasons that the board members are so much better educated and informed today is because the consultants present many of the programs,
Yes.
and they want to show their wares, and so I think
Yeah.
the competitiveness between the consultants has been a positive
Been a
deal
healthy, yes.
because they work at, okay, let me put together a good program that's very educational. And so I think having a little competition and having the consultants actually is probably a good thing,
Yeah,
up to a point.
Yeah, I think they demonstrated their capabilities by presenting in a neutral way. I
Right,
think that was
right,
great. And
right,
people could
right.
judge,
Right,
this is the kind of firm I want to deal with or not. And
right,
people weren't out there, I want you to sign this contract before we leave, kind of
right,
thing.
right.
I think it was
Yeah.
very healthy. You're right.
So I stayed active on the advisory committee because of the legislation.
Yeah.
And I moved away from being involved in other decisions, but I stayed very active. And then Trey Larry came in and picked up,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the work. But I stayed active until I retired in 2012.
I'm trying to remember when I kind of started drifting away. Let me just look at people here.
Probably after you sold out your company and made a fortune.
I think you're probably right. I sold in 1973 and I stayed around until about 75, 76.
No,
And then
no, when did you sell your company? Not 75,
93.
93,
Yeah.
not 70.
No, 93.
93,
Yeah. And by then Mary she had been executive director, and you're right, she made a major difference, and it became a professional organization at that point.
Right, right.
And she did so much to make it all happen. She would worry about, she'd go to, at the session, she was always uptight about if something went wrong, she'd get concerned.
Right.
It always went very, very smoothly. In her mind, it wasn't, but from what we could see, everything was always really smooth and worked well. And if there were little glitches, they were solved right away.
Right.
And, she did an outstanding job. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.